Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to talk about Cambridge IELTS Book 15 Listening Test 2. ඉතින් ඔයාලා හැමෝටම කොහොමද? ඔයගොල්ලෝ හොඳින් ඇති කියලා මම හිතනවා. අද අපි ඩිස්කස් කරන්න යන්නේ Cambridge IELTS Book 15th වල තියෙන Listening Test 2 එක. ඉතින් හැමදාම වගේ මේ ටෙස්ට් එකේ explanation එක තමයි මම අද ඔයගොල්ලොත් එක්ක ඩිස්කස් කරන්නේ. ඊට කලින් ඔයගොල්ලෝ අනිවාර්යෙන්ම ටයිම් එක තියලා මේ ටෙස්ට් එක තනියෙන් කරන්න ඕන. මම හැම වීඩියෝ එකකටම කලින් මේක අනිවාර්යෙන්ම කියනවා. ඔයගොල්ලෝ තනියම try කරන්න කලින් මේ recording එක අහන්න එපා. ඔයගොල්ලෝ තනියම කරලා ඊට පස්සේ තමයි ඔයගලගේ වැරදි හදාගන්න මේ explanation එක අහන්න ඕන. Right. So without wasting time, let's start our Cambridge IELTS Book 15 Test 2. Hari, මුලින්ම questions 1 to 4. Complete the table below. Write one word only for each answer. මම හැමදාම කියනවා අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම question එකක් කියවද්දී ඒකේ තියෙන මේ word limit එක ගැන ඔයා special attention එකක් දෙන්නම ඕනේ. One word only කියලා තියෙන තැනකට ඔයා වචන දෙකක් ලිව්වොත් ඔයාගේ answer එක වැරදි. ඒක හොඳට මතක තියාගන්න. අපිට මුලින්ම question 1 to 4 වල තියෙන්නේ මේක table completion එකක්. Table completion එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ මේ විදිහේ වගුවක් ඕගලන්ට ලැබෙනවා. මෙතන dates සඳහන් වෙනවා. මෙතන type of event. මොකක් හරි event එකක නමක්. ඒ වගේම මෙතන ඒ event එකේ details ගැන සඳහන් වෙනවා. මේක මේ table එකේ තියෙන festival information එකක් ගැන. මොකක් හරි festival එකක් ගැන. හරි. අපි දැන් බලමු questions 1 to 4. First question. Company called blank. Company called blank. Jane says, that sounds good. My whole family are interested in music. And then Tim says, the next day, the 18th, there's a performance by a ballet company called Eustatis or Eustatis. Company called කියලා මේ විදියට උත්තරය දෙනවා. So for the first question, our answer should be Eustatis. මේක company එකක name එකක් නිසා මේක proper noun එකක්. ඒ නිසා අපි අනිවාර්යෙන්ම E අකුර capital ලියන්න ඕන. Second question. Type of play. A comedy called Jemima has had a good blank. Type of play. A comedy called Jemima has had a good blank. Jean says, good. I expect we'll go to that. I hope there is going to be a play during the festival. A comedy, ideally. මෙතනින් Jean idea එක දෙනවා මේ play එක comedy එකක් කියන එක. Then Tim says, you are in luck. On the 19th and 20th, a local amateur group are performing one written by a member of group. It's called Jemima. මෙතනින් එයා මේකේ නම දෙනවා. දැන් ඔයා attention එක වැඩි කරගන්න ඕන. That will be on the town hall. They have already performed it 2 or 3 times. I haven't seen it myself, but the review in the local paper was very good. Type of play. A comedy called Jemima has had a good blank. මෙතන good කියන එක වෙනුවට අපිට ගන්න පුළුවන් මෙතන very good කියන වචනේ තියෙනවා. So about Jemima, what is good? It is a review. So your answer for second question should be review. Third one. A blank show. A blank show. And is it suitable for children? Yes, in fact, it's aimed more at children than at adults. So both performances are in the afternoon. And what about dance? Will there be any performances? And what about dance? Will there be any performances? So මෙතන අපිට ගන්න පුළුවන් a dance show කියන එක. Fourth question. Show is called blank. Show is called blank. මේ show එකේ නම තමයි මෙතනින් අහන්නේ. Yes, also on the 20th, but in the evening. A professional company is putting on a show of modern pieces with electronic music by young composers. The show is about how people communicate or fail to communicate with each other. So it's got the rather strange name chat. මෙතන කියනවා ඒකේ නම it's got the rather strange name chat. So show is called chat. මේක show එකක name එකක් නිසා proper noun එකක්. ඒ නිසා අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම C අකුර capital වෙන්න ඕනේ. So we have finished our first 1 to 4th questions. Now we are moving on to question 5 to 10. Complete the notes below. Question 5 to 10 අපිට හම්බ වෙන්නේ note completion question එකක්. මෙතනත් one word only. එක වචනයකින් තමයි ඔය answers ටික ලියන්න ඕන. මුලින්ම මේක කොටස් දෙකකට කැඩලා තියෙනවා ඔයලන්ට පේනවා ඇති. workshops කියලා workshop එක යටතේ bullet points 3ක් තියෙනවා. outdoor activities කියලා ඒ යටතේ bullet points දෙකක් තියෙනවා. ඊට අමතරව තව එක sentence completion එකක් මෙතන තියෙනවා. So altogether there are 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 6 questions are there. Let's see. Question number 5. Making blank food. Making blank food. Good. We are particularly interested in cookery. You don't happen to have a cookery workshop, do you? We certainly do. Let's going to focus on how to make food part of a healthy lifestyle. And it will show that even sweet things like cakes can contain much less sugar than they usually do. Making blank food. එතකොට අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම අපි දන්නවා මෙතනට එන්න ඕන adjective එකක්. food කියන එක illustrate කරන. එහෙම නැත්නම් explain කරන වචනයක් තමයි මෙතනට එන්න ඕන. So it should definitely be an adjective. So මෙතන අපිට හම්බ වෙන adjective එක තමයි healthy. 5th one, your answer should be healthy. Question number 6. Children only making blank. Children only making blank. That might be worth going to. We are trying to encourage our children to work. Tim says another workshop is just for children, and that's on creating posters to reflect the history of the town. Making blank. Creating posters. Making කියන එක වෙනුවට අපිට මෙතන හම්බ වෙන synonym එක තමයි creating. So your answer should be posters. Question number 7. Adults only. Making toys from blank using various tools. Making toys from blank using various tools. Oh, why is that? Because it involves carpentry. Carpentry means wadu wada. Participants will be making toys out of wood. So there'll be a lot of sharp chisels and other tools around. And then Jane says, it makes sense to keep children away from it. මීට කලින් අහන්නේ ඇයි ළමයිට මේකට involve වෙන්න බැරි කියන එක. So here Tim answers that making toys from wood. Toys out of wood. From කියන එක වෙනුවට out of කියන වචනේ preposition එක මෙතන දීලා තියෙනවා. So our answer for question 7th is wood. Question number 8. Swimming in the blank. Swimming in the blank. While swimming. What's that? It just means swimming in natural waters rather than a swimming pool. Okay. In a lake, for instance. Swimming in the. කොහෙද කියන එක නෙමෙයි in කියන එකෙන් අහන්නේ. එතකොට මෙතන කෙලින්ම කියනවා natural waters කියලා. හැබැයි place එක සඳහන් වෙන්නේ Jean තමයි ඒක mention කරන්නේ. So here the answer should be lake. Question number 9. Walking in the woods led by an expert on. Walking in the woods led by an expert on. Yes, there's a beautiful one just outside the town. And that will be the venue for the swimming. Venue means the place. There will be lifeguards on duty, so it is suitable for all ages. And finally, there will be a walk in some nearby woods every day. The leader is an expert on insects. Walking in the woods led by an expert on insects. Expert on. මෙතන same phrase එක අපිට හම්බ වෙනවා. So this is quite easy. මෙතන බැරි වෙලාවත් insect කෙනෙක්ගේ නමක් අපිට දීලා තිබුණා නම් first letter should be capital because it is a proper noun. හැබැයි insect කියන වචනේ proper noun එකක් නෙවෙයි. ඒ නිසා I කියන එක අපිට simple ලියන්න පුළුවන්. Question number 10. See the festival organizers blank for more information. See the festival organizers blank for more information. If you would like to read about how the preparations for the festival are going, the festival organizer is keeping a blog. See the festival organizers blank for more information. Just search online for the festival website and you will find it. මෙතන website කියන එක තමයි ගොඩක් අය වැරදිලා ලියන්නේ. But it is wrong. මෙතන අහන්නේ festival organizer ගේ මොකක්ද ඔයා refer කරන්න ඕන information ගන්න කියලා. So here it says blog. Done. So now we are moving on to our part 2. This part 2 is talking about a park. So question 11 to 14. Question 11 ඉඳලා 14 වෙනකම් අපිට හම්බ වෙන්නේ MCQ questions 4ක්. සාමාන්‍යයෙන් listening වල reading වල ඕන එකක MCQ questions ටිකක් tricky. ඒ නිසා අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම හොඳ අවධානයක් ඇතුව හොඳ strategy එකකින් ඔයා මේ questions කරන්න ඕන. Let's see question 11. The park was originally established. The park was originally established. මුලින්ම මේ park එක හදලා තියෙන්නේ. First one, as an amenity provided by the city council. B, as land belonging to a private house. C, as a shared area set up by the local community. මේ තුනෙන් මොකද්ද මේකට හොඳටම ගැලපෙන්නේ කියන එක අපි බලමු. ඔයා මෙතන ඔළුවේ තියාගන්න ඕන phrase එක තමයි originally established කියන idea එක. මොකද මේ වගේ adjectives වලින් තමයි ඒගොල්ලෝ සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම meaning එක අනිත් පැත්තට හරවන්නේ. Let's see the recording. Thank you. I'm sure you are all familiar with Minister Park. It's been a feature of the city for well over a century. අවුරුදු 100කට වඩා තියනවලු. And has been the responsibility of the city council for most of that time. What perhaps isn't so well known is the origin of the park. Unlike many public parks that started in private ownership as the garden of a large house. මෙතනින් first එකෙන් මෙයා මේ second එක cut කරලා දානවා. මේක වැරදි කියන එක මෙතනින් prove වෙනවා. Unlike many public parks that started in private ownership belonging to a private house. එතකොට අපිට මෙතනින් තේරෙනවා B එක වැරදි. For instance, minister worked some waste land which people living nearby started planting with flowers in 1892 as a shared area set up by the local community. මෙතන පැහැදිලිව මේක සඳහන් කරනවා මිනිස්සු එකතු වෙලා මේකේ මල් වවලා ඒ කියන්නේ common area එකක් විදියට තමයිලු මේක maintain කරේ. So for question 11 your answer should be C. It was unclear who actually owned the land and this wasn't settled until 20 years later when the council took possession of it. So clearly our answer is answer C. Question number 12. Why is there a statue of Diane Gosforth in the park? Why is there a statue of Diane Gosforth in the park? Statue එකක් කියන්නේ පිළිමයක් වගේ. A. She was a resident who helped to lead a campaign. B. She was a council member responsible for giving the public access. C. She was a senior worker at the park for many years. Let's see our answers. You may have noticed the statue near one of the entrances. It's of Diane Gosforth, who played a key role in the history of the park. Once the council had become the legal owner, it planned to sell the land for housing. Many local people wanted it to remain a place that everyone could go to enjoy the fresh air and natural environment. Remember, the park is in a densely populated residential area. Diane Gosforth was one of those people, and she organized petitions and demonstrations, which eventually made the council change its mind about the future of the land. So it's clearly mentions here, she was a resident who helped to lead a campaign. එයා petitions ලිව්වලු, demonstrations, ඒ කියන්නේ explanations council එකට ඉදිරිපත් කෙරුවලු. ඒ නිසා තමයි එයාගේ statue එකක් මෙතන තියෙන්නේ. So for question number 12, our answer should be A. 13th. During the First World War, the park was mainly used for. During the First World War, the park was mainly used for exercises by troops, growing vegetables, public meetings. Let's see. Soon after this, the First World War broke out in 1914, and most of the park was dug up and planted with vegetables which were sold locally. Clearly make a mention වෙනවා මේ ප්‍රශ්නේ පොඩ්ඩක්වත් අමාරු නැහැ. Most of the park කියන වචනේ මෙතන තියෙනවා. So dug up means හාරනවා කොටනවා, planted with vegetables. So for question 13, our answer should be B, growing vegetables. Question number 14. When did the physical transformation of the park begin? When did the physical transformation of the park begin? A. 2013, B. 2015, C. 2016. දැන් අපි දන්නවා මෙතන අපි ફોකස් කරන්න ඕන year එකක් කියන එක. ඒ නිසා recording එකේ audio එක play වෙද්දී අනිවාර්යෙන්ම ඔයා years එහෙම නැත්නම් අවුරුදු ඇහෙද්දී attention දෙන්න ඕන. After the war, the park was turned back more or less to how it had been before 1914 and continued almost unchanged until recently. Plans for transforming it were drawn up at various times. Most recently in 2013, though they were revised in 2015 before any work had started. The changes finally got going in 2016. මෙතනින් තමයි අපිට idea එක ලැබෙන්නේ. The changes finally got going in 2016. When did the physical transformation of the park begin? So here it's mentioned as 2016. So our answer for question 14 is C. Now we are moving on to question 15th and 20th. This is a label. This is the Minister Park. So label the map below. This is a map labeling question. You have 15th to 20th and you have letters here. Map එකේ අකුරු තියෙනවා A, B, C ඉඳලා I වෙනකන්. South Gate, West Gate, River, East Gate, Lily Pond. මේ ටික තමයි අපිට ලියලා දීලා තියෙන්නේ. So we have to decide statue of Diane Gosforth. මේවා ටික කොහෙද තියන්නේ කියන එක තමයි අපි recording එකෙන් capture කරගන්න ඕන. Let's see. Question number 15. Statue of Diane goes forth. Okay, let me tell you about some of the changes that have been made and some things that have been retained. If you look at this map, you will see the familiar outline of the park, with the river forming the northern boundary and a gate in each of the other three walls. The statue of Diane goes forth has been removed. It used to be close to the south gate, but it's now immediately to the north of the lily pond, almost in the center of the park. Immediately to the north of the lily pond, almost in the center of the park. මෙන්න තියෙනවා place එක. So it's E. I think now it's clear. To the north of the lily pond කියලානේ කියන්නේ. එතකොට lily pond එකට north side එකට වෙන්න. ඒ කියන්නේ E. Question number 16. Wooden sculptures. Lee වලින් කරපු කැටයන්. There's a new area of wooden sculptures which are on the river bank, where the path from the east gate makes a sharp bend. River bank එකේලු මේක තියන්නේ east gate එකෙන් එන path එක. එහෙම නැත්නම් පාර sharp bend. bend එකක් වංගුවක් විදියට අපිට හම්බ වෙනවලු. මෙන්න තියෙනවා. river bank එකේනේ. ඒ කියන්නේ මෙන්න මේ හරියෙන් එක කොටසක් වෙන්න ඕන. east gate එකෙන් එන පාර bend එකක් විදියට අපිට හම්බ වෙන්නේ මෙන්න මෙතන. So your answer should be C. Question number 17, playground. There are two areas that are particularly intended for children. දැන් playground කියන එක විශේෂයෙන්ම මෙතන මුලින්ම කියන්නේ නැහැ. The playground has been enlarged and improved. ඊළඟට තමයි අපිට playground කියන වචනේ දෙන්නේ. And that is between the river and the path that leads from the pond to the river. Between the river and the path that leads from the pond to the river. Between the river and the path leads to the river. ඒ කියන්නේ අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම මෙන්න මේ කොටස වෙන්න ඕන. river එකට යන පාරේ river එකයි අතර. So your answer should be B. Question number 18, maze. Then there's a new maze, a circular series of paths separated by low hedges. Hedges කියලා කියන්නේ පොඩි වැටවල් වගේ. That's near the west gate. You go north from there towards the river and then turn left to reach it. Near the west gate. මෙන්න තියෙනවා. හරි? You go north from there. West gate එකේ ඉඳලා north පැත්තට යන්න ඕන. දැන් මෙහෙ ඇවිදින්න බෑනේ. So definitely we have to take the path towards the river and then turn left to reach it. River එක පැත්තට යන පාර මේක. Then turn left. අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම A. So for question 18, our answer should be A. 19, tennis court. There have been tennis courts in the park for many years, and they have been doubled from 4 to 8. They are still in the southwest corner of the park, where there's a right angle bend in the path. In the southwest corner of the park. Southwest corner. South wala west corner එකේ. මේක east corner එක නේ, මේක west corner එක. හරි? West corner of the park where there's a right angle bend. Right පැත්තට. දකුණු පැත්තට angle වෙච්ච bend එකක් තියෙන තැන. So your answer should be answer G. 20th, fitness area. Something else I'd like to mention is the new fitness area. This is right next to the lily pond on the same side as the west gate. Fitness area right next to the lily pond. Lily pond එක තියෙන්නේ මෙතන. right next to the lily pond on the same side as the west gate. West gate එක තියෙන පැත්තට වෙන්න. So your answer should be definitely D. So that is the end of part 2. Now we are moving on to part 3. Part 3, this is part 3 where it started. So questions 21 to 30th we have for part 3. මෙතනදී questions 21 and 22 අපිට තියන්නේ ඒගොල්ලෝ ABCDE කියලා letters පහක් යටතේ මේ වගේ තොරතුරු කීපයක් දීලා තියෙනවා. අපි ඒකෙන් දෙකක් තෝරගන්න ඕන. හරි. Let's see the answers. A to E. What are the options? A. Student from the English department. B. Residents of the local area. C. The university's teaching staff. D. Potential new students. E. Students from other departments. In this question, our answers should be B and D. අපිට මේකට හම්බ වෙන answers දෙක B and D. ඒ කියන්නේ residents of the local area, අනිත් එක potential new students. අපි බලමු කොහොමද මේ answers දෙක අපි transcript එකෙන් ගත්තේ කියලා. Kathy. Good. So have you gathered who's expected to come and see the display? Is it for the people studying English or students from other departments? I'm not clear about it. And Graham says, no, me. That was how it used to be. But it did not attract many people. So this year, it's going to be part of an open day to raise the university's profile. It will be publicized in the city to encourage people to come and find out something of what does on here. මුලින්ම මේක publicized කරන්න city එකට. එතන ඉන්න මිනිස්සුන්ව encourage කරන්න. So that means residents of the local area. Next one, and it is included in the information that is sent to people who are considering applying to study here next year. ලබන අවුරුද්දේ මෙතනට study කරන්න එන කට්ටිය. So that means potential new students. Potential means possibility එකක් තියෙන. පොඩි possibility එකක් තියෙන students ලා. Okay. So questions 21 and 22, our answers are B and D. Now we are moving on to questions 23 and 24. මේකෙත් අර වගේම question එකක් අපිට හම්බ වෙන්නේ. What are Kathy and Graham's 2 reasons for choosing the novelist Charles Dickens? Kathy ගේ Graham ගේ reasons දෙක තමයි අහන්නේ. ඇයි Charles Dickens ඒගොල්ලෝ තෝරගත්තේ කියලා. Charles Dickens ඔයගොල්ලෝ දන්නවා ඇති famous writer කෙනෙක් Oliver Twist එහෙම ලියලා තියෙන එයා. Okay, A to E. A. His speeches inspired others to try to improve society. B. He used his publications to draw attention to social problems. C. His novels are well known now. D. He was consulted on a number of social issues. E. His reputation has changed in recent times. So question 23 and 24, our answers are B and C. So that means he used his publications to draw attention to social problems. C. His novels are well known now. අපි බලමු කොහොමද මේක audio එකෙන් අපි ගන්නෙ කියලා. Graham. No, it's entirely up to us. I suggest just using Charles Dickens. And Kathy says, that's a good idea. Most people have heard of him and have probably read some of his novels or seen films based on them. So that's a good lead into life in his time. So we can get this idea straight away. He used his publications to draw attention to social problems. Second one, his novels are well known now. Most people have heard of him. And let's see next one. Graham says, exactly, and his novels show the awful conditions that most people had to live in, don't they? He wanted to shock people into doing something about it. That means he has talked about social problems. So these are the 2 areas that we got the answer B and C. Along with that, we are moving on to questions 25 to 30th. What topic do Kathy and Graham choose to illustrate with each novel? Choose 6 answers from the box and write the correct letter A to H next to questions 25 to 30. Metana questions 25 to 30 novels by Dickens. Charles Dickens ඊලා තියෙන novels 6ක් තමයි මෙතන mention වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. මෙතන තියෙන්නේ topics. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ novel එක යටතේ මොන topic එකද එයා discuss කරලා තියෙන්නේ. Poverty, education, Dickens travels, entertainment, crime and the law, wealth, medicine, a woman's life. Okay, let's see. 25. The Pickwick Papers. The මේ තියෙන novel එකේ නම. අපි බලමු මේකේ topic එක ගැන කතා කරන්නේ කොතනින්ද අපි මේ idea එක ගන්නෙ කියලා. So for this your answer should be G. That means medicine. Let's see. You are lucky I did agree. Let's have a look. Okay. The first was The Pickwick Papers, published in 1836. It was very successful when it came out, wasn't it? And was adapted for the theatre straight away. Adapted for the theatre means ඒකෙන් drama එකක් හැදුවා. And Graham says, there's an interesting point, though, that there's a character who keeps falling asleep, and that medical condition was named after the book Pickwickian Syndrome. So definitely Graham says that the book Pickwick Papers has talked about, has discussed about a certain medical condition. ඒ නිසා ඒ ලෙඩේට Pickwickian syndrome කියලා නමකුත් හැදුනලු. So for the 25th one, your answer should be medicine. 26, Oliver Twist. For that your answer is answer B. That means education. Graham, right next is Oliver Twist. There is a lot in the novel about poverty. මෙන්න ඔයාව distract කරන තැන. මේක අහපු ගමන් හුඟක් අය ගිහිල්ලා මේ poverty කියන එක choose කරනවා. ඒ නිසායි මම හැම වෙලාවෙම කියන්නේ ඒ specific segment එක ගැන, ඒ අදාළ part එක ගැන recording එකේ දිගටම යනකම් ඒක හොඳට ඔයා listen කරන්න. මේක ලියා ගන්න. recording එක යන ගමන් poverty කියන එකව ලියා ගන්න ඕන. මොකද ඊළඟට දෙයක් කිව්වේ නැත්තම් you definitely have to choose poverty. හරි? ලියා ගන්න. හැබැයි ඊළඟට Kathy says, well, Oliver is taught how to steal, isn't he? We could use that to illustrate the fact that very few children went to school, particularly not poor children. So they learned in other ways. මෙතන Kathy මේ idea එක එහෙම නැත්තම් මේ topic එක කඩනවා. එයා කියනවා මෙතන stealing ඒ කියන්නේ උගන්නන එකක් ගැන තමයි කතා කරුවේ. දුප්පත් ළමයිට ඉස්කෝලේ යන්න හම්බ වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ නිසා ඒගොල්ලෝ වෙන විදි වලින් in other ways වෙන විදි වලින් තමයි ඉගෙනගෙන තියන්නේ. So for 26 your answer should be B, which is education. 27, Nicholas Nickleby or Nickleby. Maybe Nicholas Nickleby. Actually, he taught in a really cruel school, didn't he? That's right. But there's also the company of touring actors that Nicholas joins. We could do something on theatres and other amusements of the time. We do not want only the bad things, do we? So the answer is D, which is entertainment. And Graham clearly mentions here amusements. Amusements means it is a synonym for entertainment. Question 28, Martin Chuzzlewit. Chuzzlewit. Graham says, what about Martin Chuzzlewit? He goes to the USA, doesn't he? And Kathy says, yes, and Dickens himself had been there a year before and drew on his experience there in the novel. Dickens උත් මේතන්ට ගියාලු අවුරුද්දකට කලින්. So definitely it should be Dickens travels. එයාගේ traveling ගැන තමයි මේ book එකේදී Dickens discuss කරලා තියෙන්නේ. 29th, Blake House. Graham says, yes, mine too. His satire of the legal system is pretty powerful. And Kathy says, that's true. But think about Esther, the heroine. ඒ කියන්නේ මේකේ වීරවරිය, main වීරවරිය. As a child, she lives with someone she doesn't know is her aunt, who treats her very badly. Then she is very happy living with her guardian, and he puts her in charge of the household. And at the end, she gets married, and her guardian gives her and her husband a house, where of course they are very happy. So for 29, your answer is H, which is a woman's life. මෙතනින් කෙටියෙන් කතා කරන්නේ කැති එක්ස්ප්ලেইন කරන්නේ මේ heroine ගේ එහෙම නැත්නම් මේකේ ප්‍රධාන කතා නායිකාව එස්තර්ගේ ජීවිත කතාව කෙටියෙන් මේ කියන්නේ a woman's life. So your answer should be H for 29. 30th, Little Dorrit. Your answer should be F, which means wealth. So was Dickens' father, wasn't he? That's right. What about focusing on the part when Mr. Dorrit inherits a fortune and he starts pretending he's always been rich? මෙතන wealth කියන එකට අපිට synonyms දෙකක් ලැබෙනවා. Inherits a fortune කියලා කියන්නේ සාමාන්‍යයෙන් අපි මේ වචනේ පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ like sweep එකක් ඇදනවා වගේ. lottery එකක් දිනනවට අපි කියනවා inheriting a fortune. ඒ කියන්නේ ලොකු ධනස්කන්ධයකට ඔයා එකපාර ලැබෙනවා. or being rich. Rich කියන වචනේත් මෙතන තියෙනවා, which is a synonym for wealth. So for the 30th question, Little Dorrit, your answer should be answer F, which means wealth. All right. With that note, we are moving on to part 4, which is our last part. අපේ අන්තිම part එකට අපි දැන් move වෙනවා. Complete the notes below. මේක සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම question 40th වෙනකන් 31 ඉඳලා 40th වෙනකන් අපිට තියෙන note completion question එකක්. හොඳට මතක තියාගන්න answer එක one word only වෙන්න ඕනේ. එක වචනයකින් ඔයා මේක ලියන්න ඕන ඔයාගේ answers. This note talks about agricultural program in Mozambique. Mozambique කියන රටේ තිබුණු agricultural program එකක් ගැන තමයි මේ note එකෙන් discuss කරන්නේ. මේක parts කීපයක් තියෙනවා. මුල්ම එක how the program was organized. කොහොමද මේ program එක organize කෙරුවේ? ඊළඟට further developments. තවදුරටත් මේක දියුණු කරන්න මොනවාද ඒගොල්ලෝ යොදාගෙන තියෙන්නේ? Last one, evaluation and lessons learned. මේකේ evaluation එකක්. මේකේ වෙච්ච දේවල් මේ program එකේදී හොඳ නරක evaluate කරලා තියෙනවා. ඊළඟට lessons learned. මේකෙන් ඒගොල්ලන් ගත්තු learning points ටික. Okay, let's see. Question 31. Blank was seen as the main priority to ensure the supply of water. Blank was seen as the main priority to ensure the supply of water. So here your answer should be irrigation. අපි බලමු කොහොමද මේක මෙතනට ගත්තේ කියලා. To support agriculture in this dry region, the program focused primarily on making use of existing water resources from the Limpopo River by setting up systems of irrigation which would provide a dependable water supply for crops and animals, was seen as the main priority to ensure the supply of water. Irrigation වලට තමයි මේගොල්ලෝ main priority දීලා තියෙන්නේ මේ දේවල් වලට water ලබා ගැනීම සඳහා crops and animals වලට. So for question 31, our answer should be irrigation. Question 32, most of the work organized by farmers associations was done by blank. Most of the work organized by farmers associations was done by blank. It says the region already had one farmers association and it was decided to set up 2 more of these. These associations planned and carried out activities including water management, livestock breeding and agriculture, and it was notable that in general women formed the majority of the workforce. So look at this part. livestock breeding and agriculture, and it was notable that in general, women formed the majority of the workforce. So most of the work organized by farmers associations was done by women. මෙතන කියනවා notable that in general. සාමාන්‍යයෙන් මේ වැඩ ටික කෙරුවේ women, ගැහැණු අය. Question 33. Blank for the fences. Blank for the fences. Fences කියලා කියන්නේ වැටවල්. It was decided that in order to keep the crops safe, වගාවන් ආරක්ෂා කරගන්න from animals, both wild and domestic, special areas should be fenced off where the crops could be grown. The community was responsible for creating these fences, but the program provided the necessary wire for making them. For the fences. මොනවාද ඕන උනේ කියලා යහන්නේ fences වලට. So here it has mentioned wire. මේක wires කියලා ලිව්වත් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. Question number 34. Blank for suitable crops. Blank for suitable crops. Once the area had been fenced off, it could be cultivated. The land was dug so that vegetables and cereals appropriate to the climate could be grown. And the program provided the necessary seeds for this. Blank for suitable crops. So here it's mentioned the program provided. Program එක දීලා තියෙනවා මේකට අවශ්‍ය seeds. එහෙම නැත්නම් බීජ. 35. Blank for the fences on their land. Blank for the fences on their land. The program also provided pumps so that water could be brought from the river in pipes to the fields. River එකෙන් වතුර ගෙනල්ලා තියෙන්නේ pipes වලින් fields වලට. However, the labor was all provided by local people, and they also provided and put up the posts that supported the fences around the fields. මෙතන කියනවා blank for the fences on their land. මොනාද fences වලට ලැබුණේ? Put up the posts that supported. Fence support වෙන්න posts තමයි දීලා තියෙන්නේ. එහෙම නැත්නම් put up කරලා තියෙන්නේ. Question number 36. The marketing of produce was sometimes difficult due to lack of blank. The marketing of produce was sometimes difficult due to lack of blank. මෙතනට අපේ ආන්සර් එක එන්න ඕන lack of transport. අපි බලමු ඒක කොහොමද ගත්තේ කියලා. Once the program had been set up, its development was monitored carefully. The farmers were able to grow enough produce not just for their own needs but also to sell. Farmers ලට grow කරන්න වවන්න ඕන වුණා පුළුවන් වුණාලු produce කියලා කියන්නේ මෙතන වගාවන්. හරි? ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ අවශ්‍යතාවයන් වෙනුවට වගේම විකුණීම සඳහා. However, getting the produce to places where it could be marketed was sometimes a problem. හැබැයි මේ නිෂ්පාදනය කරන දේවල් මාකට් එකට ගෙනියන එක සමහර වෙලාවට ප්‍රශ්නයක් වුණාලු. As the farmers did not have access to transport. මෙන්න කියනවා ආන්සර් එක. Lack of transport, did not have access. So your answer should be transport. Question 37. Training was therefore provided in methods of food blank. Training was therefore provided in methods of food blank. දැන් මේ විදියට කලින් එකේ කියපු විදියට transport කරන්න බැරි නිසා මම ආයෙ පෙන්නන්නම්. මෙතන කියනවා and this resulted in large amounts of produce, especially vegetables being spoiled. Transport කරන්න විදියක් තිබුණේ නැති නිසා හුඟක් එළවලු වගේ නිෂ්පාදන නරක් වුණාලු. මේක සම්බන්ධයි ඊළඟ question එකට. ඒ නිසා විශේෂ training එකක් මෙයාලට දුන්නලු. මොනවා සම්බන්ධයෙන්ද? This problem was discussed with the farmers associations And it was decided that in order to prevent food from being spoiled, the farmers needed to learn techniques for its preservation. Training was therefore provided in methods of food preservation. ආහාර සංරක්ෂණය පිළිබඳ මේ farmers ලට විශේෂ training එකක් දුන්නලු. Question number 38. Farmers made special places where blank could be kept. Farmers made special places where blank could be kept. මෙතන ආන්සර් එක විදිහට අපිට ලැබෙන්නේ fish. අපි බලමු කොහොමද ඒක ගත්තේ කියලා. There was also an additional initiative that had not been originally planned, but which became a central feature of the program. This was when farmers started to dig holes. Dig holes කියලා කියන්නේ වලවල් හාරනවා. For tanks in the fenced off areas and to fill these with water and use them for breeding fish. Farmers made special places where fish could be kept. මේගොල්ලෝ මේ විශේෂ place එක බිම හාරලා tanks හැදුවේ. Fish breeding වලට. Livestock කියලා කියන්නේ මේකට. හරි? ඒ කියන්නේ ජීවී දේවල්නේ. An important source of protein. ඒගොල්ලන්ට protein ප්‍රභවයක් විදියට තමයි ඒගොල්ලෝ මේ fish එහෙම නැත්නම් මාළු breed කරන්න පටන් ගත්තේ. ඒකට හදපු විශේෂ place එක ගැන තමයි question number 38 වලින් අපෙන් අහන්නේ. 39. Local people later suggested keeping blank. Local people later suggested keeping blank. Make your answer bees. Ekane me masso. Let's see. After a time, another suggestion was made by local people. Local people later suggested. මෙතනින් අපිට idea එක ගන්න පුළුවන්. Another suggestion was made by local people. Paraphrasing. මේ idea එකම තමයි මෙතන තියෙන්නේ. Which had not been part of the program's original proposal, but which was also adopted later on. They decided to try setting up colonies of bees, which could provide honey both for their own consumption and to sell. Local people later suggested keeping bees. මේ මැස්සෝ ඇති කිරීම ගැන තමයි මේ local people ලා ටික කාලයකට පස්සේ suggest කරලා තියෙන්නේ. So for question 39, our answer is bees. Now we are moving on to our last question, 40th. Enough time must be allowed, particularly for the blank phase of the program. Enough time must be allowed, particularly for the blank phase of the program. මේකේ අපේ answer එක design. Let's see how we got this answer. In Shikwal Kuala, මේක මොන විදියට pronounce කරත් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. ඒ ගැන worry වෙන්න එපා. There was a marked improvement in agricultural production which improved food security and benefited local people by providing them with both food and income. ඒ කියන්නේ ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ needs වලටයි sell කරන්න. ඒ කියන්නේ අමතර ආදායම් මාර්ගයක් වශයෙන්ුයි තමයි මේ agricultural products ඒගොල්ලෝ වවලා තියෙන්නේ. However, it's important to set realistic timelines for each phase of the program, especially for its design. මෙතන especially for its design කියලා adjective එක එහෙම නැත්නම් විශේෂ example එකක් දීලා තියෙනවා. As mistakes made at this stage may be hard to correct later on. Enough time must be allowed, particularly for the blank phase of the program. Particularly, විශේෂයෙන්ම, specially, වෙන synonym එක. ඒ වගේම ඊළඟට ඒගොල්ලෝ කියනවා මේ process එකේදී designing process එකේදී වැරද්දක් වුණොත් ඒක ඊළඟ stages වලදී correct කරන එක අමාරුයි කියලා. So that's why your answer for question 40 should be design. All right. So that is the end of Cambridge IELTS Book 15 Listening Test 2. මම ඔයගලන් ඉක්මනින්ම ආයෙ හම්බ වෙන්නම් Cambridge IELTS Book 15 Listening Test 3 එකත් එක්ක. So until then, goodbye.